Ready for the video?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'm excited.
Seems nervous. There we go.
I loved that it was just free and flowing and joyful, and you could tell it felt good to him, which made me feel good. I mean, I want to be like in his presence. I loved what he had to say about yoga, and
so that's okay. Yeah, you can be honest.
yeah.
You don't have to lie.
I feel weird.
Present practice. What's conscious? This is Vish and
Jen Veltri.
And today we'll be responding to Sadhguru's video on
RANVEER Singh and Sadhguru dance on popular demand.
My name is Vish and I'm an aspiring yogi and I love all things meditation, yoga, wisdom based. And I'm super grateful to have Jen on the show with me. Want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi everyone, my name is Jen. I'm based in Austin, Texas, and I'm a dance fitness teacher.
Well, thanks for being here, Jen. So Jen, have you seen Sadhguru before?
I'm familiar with him, yeah.
Yeah, we actually did just see a video, so that's okay. So yeah, what are your thoughts about Sadhguru after briefly seeing him?
I mean, I want to be like in his presence. I loved what he had to say about yoga, and he has this just really calm, grounding, powerful, at the same time, presence.
Have you ever seen him dance before?
Wise man. No, I have not.
That, I mean, to me at least, is like almost like an oxymoron, like seeing this guru with a beard, super old dance, but this will be interesting. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm here for it. All right, let's get into it.
This session needs a fitting finale.
Yeah.
So we have a request from the audience. Can we see Ranveer and Sadhguru ji dancing together on stage?
This is going to be exciting.
I'm excited.
He's an actor, by the way, the other guy.
Okay.
Let's organize
Seems
a
nervous.
party in the evening, huh? Few minutes? Sir, मैं कितने करोड़ लेता हूँ few minutes के?
Don't you love his laugh?
It's great.
Let the
Super
managers
just-
negotiate and then we will see. Sir, I am ever ready. You know me.
எல்லாரும் சொல்லுங்க பார்க்கலாம். அலே 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 அலே.
There we go. Short and sweet. So Jen, that was cool. What do you think?
Oh, I loved it. Like, I couldn't help but smile, but not smile during that. Like, watching people dance makes me happy.
Yeah, Jen does have a deep passion, right, for dance. Want to tell us more about it?
Very much so.
When did you start?
I started dancing when I was 5. I took like the traditional ballet, tap, jazz, contemporary, hip hop, all the classes. Did it pretty much my whole life, competed. It was my life growing up. But then I stopped dancing when I went off to college, studied business. And then honestly, when the pandemic hit, I had some personal stuff I was going through as well. All of that combined, I started dancing again because it made me happy.
How would you say you felt during that break that you took in college and, just not dancing? How did that affect you?
It absolutely affected me. Yeah, I don't think I managed like my stress very well. I think I suppressed a lot of my emotions, and I kind of, being honest, like I had negative energy, like a little bit of darker energy, and I wasn't moving my body and doing things that brought me like that childlike sense of joy. That's what dance does for me. So yeah, and it's super therapeutic too. So I'd missed it a lot.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that, Jen. I mean, I also value, I've mentioned this before quite a bit on the show, but I really value transparency and being just open about everything, feelings, thoughts, experiences. And I think it's a superpower because it's not easy, but I truly do think it is a superpower because it just helps a lot, right? Just letting it out and being honest and being open. And I'm glad to see that did help you and you're back into it. what kind of dances have you done before, and what kind of dances do you do now?
What kind of dances did I do before and then now? Before it was like very structured ballet, again, jazz, contemporary, like you're learning a dance from the instructor and then performing it on a stage, which is so fun. It's a physical and mental challenge. But you know, you're critiqued a lot throughout that too, right? Ballet has to be like a certain way and you have to be, you know, perfect in a sense, and there's so much that you can get from that, and I love that aspect of dance as well. But now I dance to feel good, and it's not about what I look like, it's not about looking like anyone else or being on the right count or whatever. It's for fun and because it feels good and it's therapeutic, you know?
I love that perspective, and it's actually something I used to have in terms of, I guess, let's say working out before too. To be fully transparent, I used to work out initially just to kind of look good, right? I mean, it's, you know, especially when you're younger and just for the physique and so on. And then my friend told me this one thing, which was, and I guess this is actually, okay, real quick shout out I'm going to make with this type of analogy that I used to make, and I still do make at times. It's called a triple layer cake analogy. Okay, so do you know what that means? Mm-mm. Okay, so I've made this up. It's my own thing. Yeah. But basically what it is essentially the different layers of, let's say, awareness. And I think it's a model that can work for everything. So an example with, let's say, working out, or maybe dance in this case, would be the top layer, right? Where you're purely working out just for the physical, right? Or even, let's make this a quadruple layer cake, right? So making stuff up here, right? But the top layer is where people just ignore working out. They don't do anything. They just are oblivious to it, and not even oblivious per se, but they're lazy, right? So that's the top layer. But now people that have, let's say, moved past that, now they're in the second layer. And the second layer is where you do it to look good. So you kind of know the benefits, but you mainly do it for the looking good, right? And as I've seen, in fact, it's kind of unfortunate, but I think, I forget the exact type of category, but either it's like extreme weightlifters or powerlifters or bodybuilders, their average lifespan is actually not that great because they're just doing a lot for the exterior, but their internal is suffering. Did you know that?
I did not know that, but that makes sense.
Yeah, especially with all this, like, I mean, protein is great, but like excessive protein, right? Excessive eating, it's just a lot of, you know, taxation on your system. Yeah. And in fact, your heart, at least from what I've heard, can't really tell the difference. Again, I could be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong here. No scientific expert here, but your heart can't tell the difference between, you know, your body fat and then your muscle, right? Because weight is weight. Did you know that too?
No.
Okay. So, anyways, that's the second layer. The third layer is people, which is what I was at, and my friend said, was essentially the idea that he doesn't lift for looking good, but he lifts to feel good, right? Where he does it for the mind. And I was like, wow, that's actually really powerful. I mean, it does connect with what you were saying, right? The dance. And last but not least, the bottom layer is where you essentially transcend all of that, where now you do it without even for the feeling good. You just always feel good, and now you just do it for fun. Yeah. So now it's like, because at times I feel like people also are overly attached where they spend hours in the gym, and that's also a form of, I don't know, maybe not the most healthy thing. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think too much of anything is not a good thing, and in a way it can be like a form of escapism. Like same with like drinking to escape. Like you can do anything too much, and you're kind of just escaping your thoughts or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Over, you know, too much of anything, and I think just at the end, like too much, like identification, right? With like
that too. Yeah, I agree. Like my identity isn't dance. Like I'm Jen, and that's something that I've been kind of working through as I've gotten back into teaching and you know, just enjoying life for what it is. I guess, yeah.
I love that, and I've heard this one. His name is a spiritual teacher named Eckhart Tolle. Have you heard of him? Mm-hmm. Have you read his books?
No.
Power of Now, New Earth.
Oh wait, I've read a New Earth.
How do you think?
I mean, I read it in college, but I remember it had an impact on me back then, and that's when I wasn't dancing too. And I was like, yeah.
Well, highly recommend those books, and if y'all have read those books, comment down below. We'd love to hear what you think. Really powerful books. But he has a really powerful, I think, it's like a mini story where he basically talks about how, you know, it's actually Sadhguru talks about this. It all connects, right? Yeah. And I think wisdom in general too. It's like such a universal thing. This is my personal opinion. I don't think wisdom can be copyrighted or like owned. You know, I think when you tap in, it's like the same within everyone. So you'll see the reason why it all connects, right? And so Sadhguru actually has this line where he talks about how and he tends to be at times aggressive with the words, but it's just to get the point across, which is that stupid people will do what they hate, right, for a living, for example. Smarter people will do what they love for a living. But I forget the exact words, so I'm kind of just rephrasing this here. But conscious people will just love everything they do. What does that mean to you?
That resonates with me. Have you seen the movie Soul?
No.
The Disney Pixar movie? That's basically what this movie talks about. It's so good. Like, the main character is a jazz musician, and that is like his identity. And throughout the movie, he learns to also just like enjoy life. It really hit home for me.
Well, that is something I'll check out. I appreciate the suggestion. And it actually connects exactly to what Eckhart Tolle says, which is even having this quote-unquote passion, right, where you're over-identified, for example, let's say a pianist, right, who loves the piano and he's doing that his whole life. But it's just, it's just natural where you get old and then your, let's say, fingers stop working. Then that person gets, super sad and he just, super upset. And that's, again, due to the attachment, right, that's present, or the identification with that. So before we getting too lost here in this topic, which I truly enjoyed and I appreciate your insight, really love the wisdom that you had to share. Any critiques or just takeaways from Sadhguru's dance or even the actor's dance that you saw? What was sticking out to you, and what are some things that just stuck out?
I mean, I loved it. Because he was basically just bouncing up and down. He had his arms out. Like, something that I always encourage is to be big and to take up space. I think that's a great thing to practice, and I think a lot of times we kind of shrink and make ourselves small. But I loved it because you could just tell he didn't care what he looked like. It wasn't about being performative. It wasn't about looking cool. It wasn't about having a certain kind of technique. Like, honestly, me 10 years ago would have been like, well, but I loved that it was just free and flowing and joyful, and you could tell it felt good to him, which made me feel good. So
I love and connect with that too. I think the word that really stuck out to me was the freeness, right? Just to let it out and not care. I'm no expert in dancing, but especially now where I'm on this kind of journey where I really don't care much about the external and so on. I'll just do my thing and just do something random, but just have fun with it, right? At the end, it's just having fun. And before we kind of end this, any piece of advice to those watching that want to dance or, dance right now but just want to get better? Any tips for them?
Yeah, I would say the more you do it, the easier it gets. Because as you know, with exercise, any form of movement, when we move our bodies, we release those happy hormones, which generates this wonderful natural high. And so I always tell people, the more you start dancing, the more comfortable you're gonna start to feel with yourself and in your body, and those feel-good hormones will start to just make you feel good. And really, I'd say the most important thing too is to just do it for you, to feel good. Don't worry about what other people think. When I'm watching people dance, it's not really about someone who's a really good technical dancer, a really good hip hop dancer. I love seeing the person in the corner that's in their own world, doing their own thing. And they could look as weird as possible. It's just about seeing someone happy. That's what I love. So.
Well, thanks for sharing that, Jen. Really, I think great advice for those watching, and I would love to hear how you all dance and what's your favorite move or favorite dancing style in the comments down below. And before we end this, Jen, where can they find you?
On Instagram @JenVeltri, and I teach a dance fitness class at Antone's in Austin, Texas every Saturday. Come check it out.
Yeah, all of our stuff will be down below. And if you have any other video reaction requests or other personality types that you want to see on the show, you can also comment down below. And with that, make a great day, take it joyful, and stay conscious. Awesome job, Jen.
Thank you.
You did great.
Thanks.